Hey everybody, how you doing today? Thank you for joining Chef Anthony in my Elodious kitchen, where I have all of the fun. It's good to have you with me today. Today we're going to be preparing a bow tie beefaroni. Bow tie beefaroni. So I'll be using bow tie pasta. I'm going to probably be using about 6 boxes of this for the volume that I'm making. And in this particular ingredient, we're going to be using USDA graded beef, ground beef. Also onions, bell peppers, some fresh garlic, all of those particular type of ingredients. And as always, as I state to you, if you want to save yourself an extra step, instead of buying these items and then having to chop them up, if you think that you're not that great with using a knife, then go ahead and buy it in a grocery store frozen out section. It's already chopped and prepared, ready for you to be used. So that's what we're going to use. Back here in the stove, I have my big pot on, and I went ahead and I put about, for 7 pounds of ground beef that I'm cooking, I used about a half a cup of oil. And once that got to heating point, then I went ahead and I spread out the ground beef into the pan and covered it down. And I'm going to allow that to start the process of cooking before I add in the onion pepper mix. When that gets to about 3 to 4 minutes, we want to make sure that we stir it, because what happens is that the meat tends to clump together and you want it to loosen up. So you're going to have your heavy spoon or a spatula that you can be able to break it up and have it in a little bit of chunk bite sizes. Don't worry about that, because it's all going to blend and mix together. Within that 4 minutes, once we create that, we're going to put those onion pepper mix within the middle of it, and we're going to let it continue to cook for another 3 to 4 more minutes. In the process of that, we're going to add in a can of diced tomatoes, whether you choose to use this stewed or regular dice. And last and not least, you're gonna add in some tomato sauce. What I'm using, low-calorie Prego. Prego is one of the best sauce to work with, because it has all of the natural ingredients that would make a good pasta. And there are others, but for today I'm using the Prego. Meanwhile that's going on, I have some dinner rolls here, and I just got through blending up some fresh garlic and olive oil with a hint of salt. And that's to go ahead and make garlic bread. So we're gonna go ahead and spread this out. I'm improvising here with a spatula, because I should have been using my brush, but for some reason it seemed to walk off on me there, but it's quite all right. When you don't have what you need, you improvise. So I'm going to go ahead and baste these buns, and I want to make sure my oven is already on, and I'm going to go ahead and put these into the oven at let's say about 250 degrees. Keep in mind, all we want to do is just allow the garlic butter to melt over the bun. And we don't want the bun to actually cook, we want it to be warm. And we got to keep an eye on it, because keep in mind that the ground beef, as we can tell so far, is going to take approximately 10 to 12 minutes for everything to accumulate together, and that everything would be at the peak of perfection. I I believe we are preparing for about 30, no, about 40 or 50 students today. So that's the reason why we have this much money. And if you did not catch what I stated about the fresh garlic, I placed fresh garlic into a small blender. I add some olive oil and a hint of salt so that it has a bit of flavoring to it. Alrighty. I think we just about got all of the buns and covered. Go ahead and place this into the oven at 250 degrees. So it's just gonna basically just go into the process of warming up. Alright, we're gonna check on the you don't want to put too much oil when you're making this beefaroni dish, simply because the ground beef itself, once it starts to cook, it is also going to have an excess of oil that's coming off of the meat from the fat. So you don't want to do that. But I'll place the items in there. I place the onions, the garlic, the bell pepper mixture. All of that is already in there with the bell peppers and the stewed tomatoes. So I'm giving it a time to combine together. Meanwhile, I have the bow tie pasta that is cooking. Keep and remember that always when you're cooking a great pasta, any great pasta, you want to make sure your water is sea salt. Alright, so I have my pot on already. My pasta, I already placed that in there, and I'm going to pour it off right now and drain it. It's going to be cool. And I'm going to bring it over. So you wait right here. I'll be right back. Alright, our bow tie pasta has been cooked. It has a firmness to it, it's not overcooked. Pretty much has its consistency and flavor as well. We're gonna give our meat process a few more minutes. Within another minute and a half, it should be ready. We're gonna see what the combination looks like, and we're gonna basically mix everything. What we would do now is that we want to, seeing that it's getting down to the stage where it's going to be almost complete, we're going to add in some shredded Kobe cheese into it. Do make sure that you check to see that you don't have too much oil in it. You don't want this coming out too early or greasy. And you will notice that once it begins to settle. It's quite normal that this would happen, simply depending on the amount of poundage of the ground beef that you're using, because every pound of ground beef has a certain set amount of fat. So just expect that is going to happen. You don't want to drain it all out there. You're gonna need a bit of it in here because of the pasta. One of the main things is try not to also, if you're going to use complete seasoning, then try to use that with a lesser amount of salt. Seeing that you're going to add in some cheese, the cheese itself has salt. You want to balance your dish. You don't want your dish to be overpowering. As I continue to stir it and twirl it and twist it and mix it in, it's going to all blend together. And that's exactly what it's doing right now. It's already developing its form. Where we're going to add up, we're going to pour this over the pasta and mix the whole thing up. And then we're going to place it in the oven just for a tad bit. Right? now we have our mixture. Just gonna pour that over the pasta. And guess what? Also today we're also having we're having some corn to go with it. Corn on the cob. Who likes corn on the cob? Wee, I do. Yes, sir. Fun thing for me. In my corn on the cob, I'm gonna add a little bit of chopped garlic and a tab of complete seasoning because I love, and I'm gonna add some sweet butter as well. My corn is cooked, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that together in just a second. Well, make sure I'm spreading the butter around the pan, that it melts quickly. So as I add the corn to it, everything has its own, has enough sauce to go around. All right, we're gonna mix this up. Matter of fact, let me go ahead on and grab one of the two pans one time. I want to check in on our bread because keep in mind we don't want that to cook for so long. Well, we have these here ready. My final touch to these dinner rolls is some Parmesan cheese on top. So it's okay to just sprinkle it from way above so that a little bit falls on just about everything. All right. That's our bread to go with our pasta dish. I'm gonna rest that on top here. Oh, you rocking back here, baby. You rocking. Okay, we're going to bring over the corn. So you know, so that I can get my flavoring into my corn, I use some turkey sausage, or beef sausage, while I was boiling the corn. We can let that sit for just a second. All right, now we're gonna finish combining this together and place it into the pans. It's gonna go for one final round of applause into the oven. If perhaps by chance while you were mixing your pasta and you find that it has gotten a little bit dry, that's the reason why I say don't worry about trying to get rid of all the oil, but make sure that the tomato sauce, the sauce itself is not diminished. You may have to add in a little bit more, and according to the volume that you're making. My volume is a little high, so I can afford to do this. Alright, that's what the combination is going to look like now. Right now we're going to spread this into these two pans. So we evenly spread the corned beef around so that in every scoop you ought to be able to get some good meat. last and not least, I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit of more on the top because we're gonna put this one more time into the oven, final stage. Reason for the Parmesan cheese on top is for crusting. Ready? Give that about a good 3 minutes. So all it's going to probably take in a conventional oven is going to only probably take 3 minutes. Now let's get ourselves ready. Got our corn ready, and I have a plate. The other one on too. The other one right here will. I look. The other one right here will keep it. Those who are here, you're going to have an opportunity to actually taste it. So, Hector and I, we're going to just go on ahead and jump on in. So we're going to tell you what it's going to be, what it's really like. We're going to let you know what it's really like. Right. Clock's ticking down. We got another 2 minutes, another minute I should say. We're almost at the peak of things. plate just one more dish. While all this process of time was going on, I took the liberty and I was making me some vegetable lentil soup.